Hey, good people, it's me, Ty, and I want to welcome you to season 2, episode 2 of the Ty Odom podcast. And I know you're like, what? We have not heard a podcast in so long. I know. Come a little closer. I'm going to share with you how making 2 mistakes almost made me quit the one thing that I enjoy the most in my business, and that's the Ty Odom podcast. If you've been here for a while, you know that I started the podcast in Arkansas. I had the most amazing library where I would meet people in person. We would be able to have beautiful conversations. And then I moved to Atlanta. Once I moved to Atlanta, it was a matter of me figuring out how to work equipment, how to do editing. Do I want to try to be in studio? Do I want to try to do it virtually? It was, what is my plan going to be? Now, I know that sounds like you if you're in the midst of saying, I want to start a nonprofit. And what is my plan going to be? That's me right now at this podcast. So I moved to Atlanta, and I decide that I am capable, right? I am believing in myself, that I am capable of learning to record, learning to edit, learning to do those things. But I read a book and it talked about operating in your zone of genius. And I realized that learning those things would be a great tool to have, but it wasn't going to get me any closer to putting the podcast out any sooner because I was going to have such a learning curve. So the first things first is I have to learn to turn my cell phone off if I'm going to record in studio. So let's do that real quick. So talk about learning curves, right? That's the first thing I learned today. So for me, I had asked people to come to my hometown to record with me in person. There's a beautiful studio there. Thank you so much to Stephen Brown of Dig for allowing me to use his space. And then I messed up the audio. So I had this beautiful conversation with Charisma Young, and I had no audio. So I'm like, man, I wasted her time. I felt as if I completely bombed. I wasn't going to ask her to come back into the studio or ask anyone else for that matter. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to move over to virtual. I'm going to try this. And one of my really great friends and clients, Star Davis of the Star Institute, decided to be the first person that I would record with virtually. So I'm like, yes, we got it. We're going to do it. I've gone through a couple of trainings in this space. I've looked at more YouTube videos. I am ready. We hit record and boom. I messed up the audio again. And so I had already put out that first episode of season 2, and it was me reintroducing myself. It was me telling you what to expect. And then I messed up twice, and then I quit. Yep, that's it. February, I messed up. I sent out a newsletter, and I was like, I'm done with the podcast. Why was I going to let messing up twice keep me from showing up in this space? Keep me from doing the one thing that I do naturally, that I enjoy more than anything. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be a quitter. And so this is me not quitting. This is me deciding to show up. This is me finding somebody where this is their gift and it will allow me to operate in mine. So if you've been here, if you've listened, if you've downloaded, if you've shared, if you've done anything to support the podcast, even when I take breaks from showing up, like I really appreciate you. Like I am so grateful that you show up for me, even on the times when I don't show up for myself. I have a cousin and it was I can't remember. It's not Thanksgiving. It wasn't Thanksgiving, but I went over and he's like, cuz, where the next podcast at? I'm tired of not seeing the podcast. So I said, you know what? I'm about to start showing back up. So this is my recommitment to the podcast in partnership with a beautiful company in Atlanta where when I say I'm bringing the podcast back, this is what I mean. So I'm bringing the podcast back, and I want to encourage you that if you are out there and you are in the middle of building something beautiful, if you are in the middle of learning something, if you're in the middle of learning to start a nonprofit, if you are in the middle of becoming a grant writer, a fundraiser, like don't quit too soon. Like there is somebody that's waiting on you not to quit. And I am excited to say I'm not quitting. So this is season 2, episode 2, 5 minutes, me encouraging you not to quit. It's going to get hard. You are going to mess up. You are going to get told no. Just don't quit. If it's your thing, if it's your gift, it's how you're supposed to serve, do that. On the days that you mess up, write down the lesson, see what you learned, decide if it's something that you should try and correct on your own, or know when to get outside help. This is me knowing when to get outside help. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. And listen, that's a wrap. 2 episodes, season 2, and we're done. And I'll see you on season 3 of the Ty Odom podcast from my brand new location.